Okay everyone, this is Mr. G once again. We are in Eureka Math, Unit 3, Lesson 5, and today we're looking at subtracting fractions. I just made a few videos that kind of retouched on making equivalent fractions and how to add and subtract those as well. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to look at A, C, and E in our problem set. We're going to do those problems together, and then I'll have you guys finish the problem set, which would be like 3 more problems. So let's take a look at what we have here. All right, so for letter A, we're looking at 1/3 minus 1/4. Okay, because thirds and fourths are not the same kind of unit, we need to figure out what is the lowest common denominator, or like that we can get to. Sometimes it works where you don't have to multiply this side by this denominator and this side by this denominator, but in this case we will. So I know that 3 and 4, if I skip counted, 3, 6, 9, 12, 4, 8, 12. 12 is that lowest common denominator. So to do that, I have to multiply this by 4 and this by 4. That would give me 4/12 minus, and then I need to get to 12ths, so times 3 times 3. So again, knowing your multiplication tables is going to help during this part. Okay, 1 times 3 is 3, 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, now that we have the same denominator, this should go really easily. Okay, kind of like when we add fractions together, the denominator, if it's the same, remains the same in the answer. So it's all over 12. 4 minus 3, relatively easy, right? Just 1. So your final answer for this problem would be 1/12. Okay? So again, ladies and gentlemen, you have to get the denominators the same, and then once they are, you can easily do the problems. Okay? Let's take a look at letter C here. Scooch this up a little bit. Okay, we have 5/6. Let's kind of hate that word, sixths. Minus 1/4. Okay, again, these denominators are not the same. But, like this one up here, we multiplied this side by 4. We multiplied this side by 3. But if I skip count, and I think like this, I'm going to do skip counting over here with 6's first. 6, 12, 18, and then I skip count with 4's, 4, 8, 12, boom. So I can see that, okay, 12 is going to be the lowest common denominator for both these problems. Okay, so that means that I'm going to need to multiply this side by whatever number is going to turn this 6 into 12. Okay, let's just focus on this side for now. Okay, so what could I multiply 6 by to get to 12? Think about it for a second. 6 times blank equals 12. That's right, times 2, which also means I need to multiply this top by 2. 5 times 2, 10. 6 times 2, 12. Okay, hopefully everyone's staying with me here. Minus this one. Okay, so again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm trying to get this denominator to 12s. So what would I have to multiply 4 by to get 12? 4 times blank equals 12. 4 times 3. So that means I also have to multiply the top by 3, which would give us 3 times 1, 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, so now that our denominator is the same, it's still going to remain the same in our answer as well. 10 minus 3 is 7, and that would be your answer. Now, in a lot of these future problems, they're going to ask you to simplify, which means, is there a number that divides 7 and 12 evenly? And in this case, no, there is not. If this was 6, then 12 and 6 are both divisible. You can divide both of them by 6. If this was 8, you could say both of them are divided by 4. But it's 7, and 7 is only divisible by 1. So our answer should be 7/12. Okay, hopefully everyone's staying with me. Again, I think the tricky part for this one is oops, the whole book got shifted here. The tricky part, I think, is getting the lowest common denominator when a lot of times you just multiply the other side by the denominator. In this case, the lowest common denominator is 12, so you just have to multiply accordingly. So this one by 2, this side by 3. Again, I hope that's not too confusing. I don't want to like just keep talking and make you more confused. I feel like I do that too often. Okay, I'm shifting up here. I hope everyone can still see this stuff. There we go. Okay, so for letter E, we have 3/4 minus 3/8. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I have to think, what denominator would I need to change one of these into? Okay, so this is broken into 8 pieces. This is broken into 4 pieces. I know that if I multiply 4 times 2, I can get 8 pieces. And then I don't really need to do anything on this side because it's already broken into 8 pieces. So in some cases, like this one, I'm going to multiply 4 times 2 and 3 times 2 so I can get eighths. So 3 times 2 is 6 over 8. And then this one, again, is already in eighths. So I don't really need to change it at all. I'm just going to bring it down. 3/8. So again, ladies and gentlemen, 6/8 is the same thing as 3/4. It's just a little bit larger as far as how many pieces it's broken into, but it means the same thing. I have 3/4 of 8 pieces. So from here on out, it's relatively easy. Again, since the denominator is the same, it's going to be over 8. 6 minus 3 is 3. And again, there's nothing that divides into 3 and 8 evenly. So your answer would be 3/8. 3/4 minus 3/8 is 3/8. Kind of crazy, but that's how it works. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, again, this gave you a pretty good example of, like in letter A, you had to multiply each side by the opposite's denominator. So I multiplied this side by 4, and I multiplied this side by 3. In example C, I didn't need to do that because the lowest common denominator was 12. So I multiplied by 2 on this side so I could get to 12, and 3 on this side to get to 12. So sometimes you have to think about it carefully. On letter E, I didn't have to change this side at all. I only had to multiply, or I had to make an equivalent fraction for that side. So sometimes you don't have to do one of them, only the other. So giving me 6/8 and so on. So again, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this makes sense to you. We did do this in class, so it should be kind of review. If you need more help, let me know. We can set up a Zoom meeting. We can walk through this stuff together. It's all up to you guys. Just hit me up. I'll talk to you later. Hope everything works well for you.